Morning strangers, we're having to do it all over again today. Didn't finish off what I was doing yesterday. In fact, you might not really see any footage from yesterday. It was hot and I kind of like gave up after a while. So yeah. Ooh.
Right lads, here we go. So, you've heard of the Widowmaker. Are you ready for the Headache Maker? Yeah, this is my ride. This is one of my rides. This is the bad boy that's going to take me all the way to Mitchell. It's a long, long way away. It's where I live. It's not where I live. It's where I work. It's where I do the things that I do. That's where I gotta go. There's the corner shop. Just in case you want to buy anything, let me know in the comments. And yeah, working on this interesting hunk of junk has kept me occupied and also given rise to a new hobby. So now, after purchasing this wonderful motorcycle, I've decided that I'm going to build choppers, lads. And I've somehow or other found myself in the possession of not one, not two, but 5 motorcycles. So for those of you who are wondering, this is a CB550 1978. It was the engine from one. The rest of it's a bit special. That's a peanut tank from a Harley. And as for the rest of it, God knows where it came from. It's supposed to have disc brakes on the front, but as you can see, we don't have any. However, it does stop. A lot of the time, it's not the stopping that's the problem. When I picked it up, I wouldn't go over 50. That doesn't sound great, but the dickhead right here, this one, decided, oh no, I'm going to go the other side of the country to pick this bike up, and then I'm going to proceed to ride it home, having never been on a chopper before, or even looked at this bike. And nearly £2,000. But I've gained a wealth of knowledge because of it, I'll tell you that. It really has paid dividends in the old memory banks. But anyhow, I rode it all the way home from London to Gloucester, which, for those of you who don't know, I think it's about 250 miles on a bike that wouldn't go over 50. Yeah. You imagine it was quite arduous. I was rather drained by the time I got home. Oh, she is a windy one. The bike's been a real pain in the arse. But now, I wouldn't say it runs sweet as a nut, but compared to what it was running like, it's a lot better. It turns out, when you've got weak timing advanced springs, or advanced springs, or weak springs, or just generally weak, things don't run right. But for the most part, it goes forwards and it stops. And that's all you really need, isn't it? Oh yeah, corners as well. It does that. It actually goes around corners right away. I was thinking about with a stance such as this, being so low down and spread out, it might be a little bit unwieldy around the corners, but I don't find it too bad, Let's have a bit of a boost. It's only got 5 gears. 60 it is then. The journey has only just begun, my fellows. Of course, we've got no indicators on this thing, and up until recently we didn't have any brake lights either. That's no problem, is it? Just don't stop. And don't change direction. Now remember, this isn't a ride-out, this is my way to work. I've got to do this every day. I'm a lucky boy. And this is going to be the first in a series of tutorials aimed at people who can't find tutorials. That there, that hill in the distance, the little nipple on top, that's no hill. That little nipple on top is a ring of trees protected by some sort of protection thing. And yeah, it's a nice place to go camping and take some acid. A stupid seat. It kind of tilts you right onto the wheel, which is not the best. No, not if you value your arse cheeks. Many people do. I don't really have many to speak of.
Okay, so the reason you're watching this, because you had a ZX12R, and ZX12Rs have the old school upside down suspension, old school, yeah, whatever. They got the upside down suspension, all very well and good. However, you might have noticed that unlike most upside down suspension, when you take this end cap off here, you haven't got the normal option of unscrewing the damper in order to get the tube to slide down.
Now, looking at the manual, you've got to get a special tool from Kawasaki, which I don't really know what it does. Well, I found myself a life hack. So first of all, you're going to need one fork leg, or in fact, two fork legs. I have one here. There's one I made earlier. Probably see the footage of me doing this in the outtakes, because that was a little bit first go, you know, all that. You're going to need your fork oil, fork seal, and dust cap, red rubber grease, a bit of milk bottle. You'll see what that means later on. I have used a tyre lever, a little piece of rubber, and some plastic tubing which I've cut in half, which will allow me to knock the seal in, and also probably a pair of gloves. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because some months ago I went over a speed bump quite fast, or rather I went over a large speed bump very slowly with my girlfriend on the back, and the suspension bottomed out. You see how it's cracked this dust cap, seal, whatever. Also it knackered up the seal on the inside, and all the fluid came out. Not all at once, but started coming out, and it's, yeah, left a mess. That's why I'm doing this job. Now, first things first, before you take your forks off, while they're in the triple tree, you want to undo this bolt. Well, you want to undo this. See how the seal's poking out of there? While it's easier to undo it while it's held in the triple tree than it is to try and do it on a bench. So just get your spanner on there and undo it until you can see the seal like I have here. Now this thing isn't really full of oil because most of it's everywhere else. The first things first, I'm going to try and undo this a little bit more, because where it's on the seal like that, it doesn't actually, oh, there we go, no, never mind. I thought it was going to be more difficult than that. Right, so there we go, easy peasy. While it's intact, I'm going to take this off. Now you want to be careful with this. You don't want to be denting the face underneath it or your fork leg. So just carefully get a lever under it, just pop it off like that. Pop. There you go. Right. Now the hack with these things is if you try to do this yourself at home, you find yourself in a bit of a predicament without the tools that are necessary to do the job. I have a solution for you, my friend. What you need is an impact driver, some compressed air, or you can get electric ones. I don't know how good they are or effective, but hence why I am currently in the workshop and not at home doing this, because I need the compressed air. Couldn't find a bloody tool long enough. This is the longest one I could find, 10mm impact driver. But as you can see here, I don't know if you can see that, it don't bloody reach there. So we had to make one. This is an Allen key, I chopped the ends off. This is a 10mm socket. Job done, mate. Ooh, wobbly. Right, so make sure it's kind of held, but like not tight. You don't want to dent it. Which way are we going? That way, alright, go the other way. Don't want to do it, but I want to do it. And you put it on in here, and make sure when you've put it in, it's nice and seated. It's only a shallow bolt head. You don't want to go stripping that, because you'll be f***ed if you do. Make sure it's held all right, nice and tight. Don't want to go break anything. And you may want to, I strongly suggest, taking out these bolts, because they're going to get in your way. And I'm going to do that first, because what you don't want is to knacker anything else up. There you go, that was professional. Right, so we're good and in there, nice and proper, and then be careful, because when you've undone this, the bottom bit might just fall off. As you can see, it's spinning now. Right. That being loosened, that's it. He's off, he's out. and we're good. I'm going to unplug this because it whistles and it's bloody annoying. Here we go. Alright, fuck off. There we go. So now you've undone that, your fork leg will promptly fall apart. However, it seems to have done itself back up in here. Cause rotations and thus. So pop that off. Now it's going to smell like fish, mostly because the oil is got fish in it, I reckon. I wouldn't know. I didn't make it, but there's that bolt that I just undid. And you want to keep an eye on that? You need it. I'll explain to you why later. I'll put that on there, easier to find. Now I strongly suggest you wear gloves, because this stuff is nasty. It's not like gonna corrode your skin like the spit from Alien nasty, but it's nasty nonetheless. So, pair of gloves on. I've chosen the nice green Vitrile gloves on account of being allergic to latex. Then, whatever. This whole thing should just fall apart quite deftly, and that's exactly the idea. Unlike most upside down or normal forks, where you can just pull the fork leg apart, dunk, 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 knocking out the seal, doesn't work on this one. This one is an exception to the rule, and we have to allow for that. First of all, I'm going to undo this and take out the entire damping mechanism. Because I'm a good sport like that. I like these things, right? See how there's no oil coming out of that? Nothing dribbling out. I haven't even emptied it. That is just the nature of the beast. A bit of oil on this. Not too much. Now, I'm going to grab a rag. Rags are important. You need rags. Make sure you've got some to hand before you attempt this, because you're going to get covered in oil and everything else is too. And that's really the last thing you want. Because it's stinky, nasty stuff. Lovely, lovely. Oh, put that somewhere out of the way. I would say safe and relatively clean. Yeah. All right. That looks good. Make sure it don't fall over and stuff. Okay, so now you've taken the damper out, pop that off, got the oil out of it, because I would highly recommend getting the oil out of it before doing any of this. This one was dry, didn't need to do it. You missed out, lads, should have been here. Now you have to acquire a driver of screws. These are important. Quite favour the flat blade, you know, like a little lever. Right, so stand this bad boy up, and in here we have a little clip, a little retaining clip. Oh, see, there is oil in it, just not a lot. It prevents the seal from coming out of its own accord. Get in there and gently, first of all, find the open end of it. There you see. I don't know if you can see that, but at the end of there, nothing. So, get in there with a screwdriver and just lever it out. Be careful not to scratch your tubes. Wink, there he goes. Actually got more oil than I anticipated. Okay, now we've got that out. Just carefully take him off. Put him to one side, you're going to need him later as well. Oh, this is not nice. This is nasty, ganky, gooey nonsense. Just let that drain for a second. Sit down. So how's your day been? What have you been up to? This will now pop out. And you see, this is why you can't use the normal, traditional method of using the fork tube to pull out the seal, because there's nothing on the end of the fork tube to do so. So we have to improvise. Now you've separated these pieces, you want to put that down somewhere too. You see I've got gunk all over it, we'll clean that off later. Pull this old thing off. Make sure you've got a replacement before you go dashing it in the bin, because you need it. I have a replacement, there. Okay, I'm just going to give this a little wipe off. I've actually made effort to clean this fork leg, would you believe it? It was in a much worse state when I got here. So, nice little clean. I'm going to go put it with the other bit. So, because it doesn't work like a normal fork seal where you can just use the tube to drift it out, I'm using a tyre lever. Just a lever of appropriate size. You can get underneath it, and I'm using this piece of rubber to prevent me from causing any dings or nicks or dents in this surface here, because that might affect the seal when we replace it. I'm just going to go around it and lever it out. A little bit at a time. You don't want to go too mad on one side, cause it to be off at an angle and then bind in. There we go, see, it's coming there. Lovely jubbly, pop, there he goes. And that's my knackered fork seal. Now, pay attention when you pull your fork seals out to which way around it is. As you can see, there's quite a deep recess in the underside of it, and at the top there you've got that little retaining spring. Ah dear, that's probably not helping, whatever that is. So, I'm going to go ahead, throw it away because it's knackered and I don't want to keep it. Makes me sad. There's gooey in it. Delicious. Alright, see all that in there? That probably wasn't helping. So, underneath this fork seal, there's a bush, washer, whatever you want to call it. Keep that, you don't have a replacement. You should probably get a replacement on eBay or some shit, but like, you want to keep that. Necessary. I'm going to get a rag once more. See, that's what I said, you need rags, mate. Rags. If you don't have rags, get some rags. Old pair of underwear, some socks. Your girlfriend's favourite t-shirt, whatever it is. Get in there and give that a damn good clean. You need it to be spick and span shiny as you possibly can. These faces need to be free of any obstruction so that the seals can seal. Yeah, this one is not looking good. I'm not really sure what happened there, but that is probably where it was leaking from. You see all that corrosion around the inside. I don't think it's corrosion because, I mean, it looks like rust, but these, I don't think these are made out of, what these are made out of. Maybe they are steel. I don't know. We've got ourselves a bit of a mess in there. We're going to have to find something, fashion something, to get in there and clean it, because this rag isn't going to cut it. Although, not too much of an issue, because that's just where the spring clip lives, and it's not actually what it seals against. It seals against this face here and the inside of the tube. So, just give it a quick once round. And I'm going to carefully come in here with a screwdriver to just carefully try and remove most of the crap. Thanks very much, Kawasaki, for building an incredible bike. It's incredibly difficult to work on. You are my heroes. I mean, it's worth it. It's an incredible bike. I mean, if you've worked on one, you'll know. This is an issue I should have addressed a long time ago. It happened about January time. And we're now in June, soon to be July. Yeah, it was on my list of priorities. In all honesty, riding with an empty fork, didn't notice any difference other than it was creaky when I pulled up at traffic lights. Like, and that was like, yeah, cool. I mean, if you are in the position where you have a pneumatic driver, you're in the position where you probably have an airline too, right? So we're all good and dandy. Now, I'm not too happy about the inside of that. I also don't really have much of a choice. So we'll just think about it together and see how it goes, shall we? Alright, so first things first, clean off this nonsense. So that's your bush. And Bob's your uncle. Put that back in there. Ta-da! Right. Now what we must do is put these things on the tube. And what we're going to do is a space. Here's a space I prepared earlier. Go on, man, there. Go away. Go away. Thank you. Right. Nice. Nice and clean. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Give it a smack. Here we go. Now what I've done previously, I didn't show you on camera because it was boring as hell, is I cleaned off the gank from at this end of the tube. And what you need to do is get yourself a rag, an oily rag, because, you know, it's life. And this is big thanks to Del Boy's Garage, or Del Boy's Garage. Check him out, he's on YouTube, I'll link him down below. Gave some fantastic tips for doing this. Unfortunately it wasn't for this motorcycle, and so I decided to do my own tutorial. You put the rag down here, which will prevent you from sliding your nice new bits down the tube and onto the ganky bits at the end, potentially disrupting or destroying the seal they may or may not create. That is tip 1 from Del Boy. Now, tip 2. Now, I'll ditch the gloves for a second because I don't want to wear them anymore, because I think we're done with the oil for the most part. Number 2, you get a bit of milk bowl after cut a piece out like this and smear it with your red rubber grease. Now your seal kit should come with some red rubber grease. Useful stuff, really is. Don't eat it though, probably not good for you. Smear a bit on. Go on, smear it on. Oh, it's like jam, it is. Ugh. No, don't eat it. What we're going to do is we're going to take your fork dust cap thingy. We're going to wrap this around here like so. And what this will do, I've got it all in my hands now instead, haven't I? What this will do, make sure you get it on the right way up. Silly crab hands. Ugh. Right, put that in there. Del Boy made this make look so much easier. Right, so we've got the red rubber grease on it, which will help seal, grease, lubricate, whatever. And then we slide this up the stanchion. And what that'll do is it'll allow us to get all the way up without running over any nasty bits we may have encountered on the way and disrupting whatever seal we're going to create. And now we've greased it as well. It's perfect. Just sits on there like that. Happy as Larry. What more do you want? And now this is thoroughly greased, as am I. I'm going to repeat the process with my seal. Again, make sure it's the right way up. Remember which way up it was? Yep. Good. Glad you were paying attention. And be careful with this because these things are kind of delicate, hence having to replace them. But yeah, they're kind of delicate, so just go easy with it. Treat it with some love, like it's your favourite hamster or something. Slowly slide it up the shaft. you don't want to be forcing it. If it gets difficult, you want to stop. Use more lubrication. Anyway, back to the seal. Get it on eventually. That's what she said. Don't want to go on, boys. There we go. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Everything's thoroughly greased up now. So I like it. Nice and greasy. Right. We slide these over here, like so. Repeat the process up to the end. Pop it off onto your stanchion. Oh, that was nice. Nice and positive. Bit greasy, no one cares. That's what it's for. Right, now that's done, we can go about reassembling the doodad. Reassembling this fork leg. Looks like jam, doesn't taste like jam. Wouldn't recommend it. Doesn't go well with cream tea. Put it in a vise, make it easier. You've only got one pair of hands. Much to my disappointment. Leg, vice. Oh, don't knock it over. Right, just a little nip. No, I don't want it to fall over, but you don't want to like bend it and such. Okay. So we put this down into here. Carefully now, carefully. Be gentle with him. Make sure he's clean. That's it. Make sure he's clean. Oh. Nice and smooth. Right. It goes down into here, like so. Oh yes. Okay. And I've created these two biggies to help me, assist me in my need getting this thing seated. Now, you can get tools for this, and I highly recommend you do. I didn't, and here I am, trying my best to do it, one-handed, all by myself. Now, I improvised in the last one, and I found it was quite effective, although probably ill-advised. So, I'm just going to tap this thing. Again, probably not the best advice, but I don't have anything else at my disposal currently. Give it a wipe off on the leg. That's what legs are for, isn't it? Tap, tap, tap. Make sure you go around it all the way. If you're doing it this cockeyed, one-handed method without the appropriate tool, make sure you're going around it all the way. You don't just do it on one side or it'll get stuck. Best off not doing it like this. Honestly, get yourself a tool for it. If you go follow the link to Doughboy's Garage, he has the tool and he links it down below. And it's probably more appropriate than this. However, I don't have the tool. I made one, a better one. I left it at home, forgot all about it. But we'll survive, lads, we'll survive. That's it, that's it. See, when it goes dunk, 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 as opposed to, you know, you can hear the difference when it bottoms out. It really does change in tone. You just make sure you've got it in both sides. Be careful though when you're in not to hit it in along this seal, do your best not to, because that's the bit you don't want to be hitting. Because that's where the problems start. Okay. Okay. Now he runs nice and smoothly up and down there. No obstructions or anything. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful day. Okay. Now before you put your Dust seal back in. You want to put this in the place where it lives. I'm just going to give it a clean off. So this is your little clip. Remember that from before? We've got to put him back in there now. So carefully slide them over, as careful as can be. They all locate one side in the groove. The groove where it came from, put him back in there. Awful fiddly. One side first, then the back end, and then the other side. And just make sure he's in. He should go click. If you listen very hard. Dink! There we go. He's in. Hey! Oh, bonk. Now I'm just going to have a little quick around the outside. Around the outside. Around the outside. Just to make sure he's actually seated. Because the last thing you want is this thing deciding it doesn't want to be here anymore. Your life's going nowhere. Right. Now that's done. You pop this doodad back where he lives too. Make sure there's no junk in there. Lovely jubbly. And I want to pop 3. Here's that bolt we took out earlier. No. So this little copper washer, these things are specifically designed to depress or to crush under the clamping pressure of the bolt and thus cause a seal. Now you're supposed to replace them, but I don't have a replacement. I don't often find you need one, as long as you give it a nice good clean and along with the bolt. So make sure that you get in there with your thumbnail in the rag, go around the inside of the thread, get all whatever nonsense might be hiding in there, which may cause the thread to bind when you do it up. You don't want to strip the thread, because that's a new fork leg.
Or you can damper do that. Make sure this space is clean, because that's where your washer locates. And try, make sure it's clean in there. So I've got a bit of oil in there, but unless I go and I have a joint on my fingers, that oil's probably going to stay there. I'm going to try and get in there and get it out, because it's the best idea really, isn't it? Cleanliness is close to godliness or some other twaddle. Give it a little tweak. There we go. That's better. Okay.
So now that's prepared, I'm going to reassemble it. See, little buggers like that will cost you time and effort. He's ready to go. Now I'm going to put my dampening rod array conglomeration back where it came from. Yep. Oh, isn't that nice? That's nice. So, bottoms out, yeah? Oh, the mess. I'm going to screw this on. Not completely, just get it sort of on there. Ooh, I messed it up. So that goes back where it came from. Like so. I'm just going to grab this and start it off. Don't want to just go at it with the impact without it even being screwed in, because it's not going to help. Okay, make sure we're seated in there good and proper. Good and proper. It's first time. Would you like some advice? Oh, I'm hilarious. Don't quote me, kids. See this wide bit here? Probably the best place to hold it. Again, not hard, just a little bit, because you're going to cause yourself some issues if you do it hard. You don't want want to stay upright though, does it? Good thing about having long arms. If you don't have long arms and you wish to find some, I am available for hire. Honestly though, if you guys just see this tutorial and go, nah, not for me, hit me up, I'll do it for you. It'll cost you, but I'm reasonable. And contrary to what you might think, I know exactly what I'm doing. It all just looks like I'm making it up as I go along. Right. Couldn't be tighter if I wanted to. Shut up. And got away. Good. Here we are. One fork leg fully reassembled. Now it's time to get sticky. According to the book, you want 410 millilitres of fork oil in your fork. Some people say you want to measure it, so go from the top and see how much is in there. And yeah, I get that. Atmospheric pressure causes volume to increase and stuff. But the level they give you in the book and on the forums and things is for how much oil needs to be in there when that is removed. But if you've removed that, all the oil falls out the bottom. If you do it the way I do it. If you've got the special Kawasaki tool and you can pull it apart properly and take this out without pulling that plug out the bottom, then by all means. However, I resorted to measuring the amount of fluid I'm going to put into it, and I didn't do that with your old school measuring jug, because we all know how inaccurate they can be, and I don't own one. What I did is I poured all of this out and weighed it, and then calculated how much the fluid weighed, and then poured it all back in again. So, put them down. I'm using this as a funnel. There's not a lot of room. Just gonna wedge it down a bit. Don't go breaking it now. You know, the technical kinks, you know. Kinky technically. Just there we go. There we go. Beautiful. Right. Make sure you're not running any stuff in there. Last thing you want is stuff in your fork leg, isn't it? Stuff. And ooh, careful. Don't get too cocky. Just chuck the whole lot of it in there. Indiscriminately. You get bubbles, whatever. So this is 438. Oh, bubbles. 438 millilitres. It's quite lucky because this is a litre of fork oil, and as you can imagine, any more than that and it'd run out. The two forks. You see it sat there like that? It will go down if you pump it like you mean it, or just lift this bit up because it goes in there anyway. And also a really good way of testing if your seals are done. Oh no you don't. Oh no you don't. Oh shit. Right. It's okay. It didn't spill. It was empty. See, 3 hands. 3 hands would be brilliant. 4 would be a treat. Get it all in there, lad. You want to keep it. So for good measure, I anticipated losing some of this and added a bit more to the weight. I mean, how precise does it really need to be? I've ridden this bike for 6 months without any in there at all. Yeah, exactly. So, plonk that on there. Do him up. just going to go until I run out of seal. Ta-da! Now you're supposed to pump it a lot to try and get rid of all the bubbles and make sure it's in all the right places and all the holes are filled with goo and there's no air in it and, well, whatever. But common sense would dictate it'll do that on its own eventually. And also, if you take it, turn it on its side, rotate it, it'll go everywhere inside that tube, and then stand it back up again and continue rotating it nicely, and then do it again. All the bubbles will find themselves, each other, and become nice friends, and all the fluid will go into all the holes. And then if you stand it back up again, as you're doing it, rather like drinking a yard of ale, you know what I mean? You've been there before, right? You get the thing and you turn it round so all the bubbles go to the right end and you don't get splashed in the face or drowned, and then you do drown because you're already drunk, and then you have to get rescued by the local first aider who happens to also run the post office. And anyway, as you can see, no leaks. That's a good feeling. That's a good feeling. The crab hands, on account of thinking it was a little bit beyond repair, but it seems to be okay. And that's what we want. We want it to be okay.
Now I hope that tutorial was helpful. I hope you learned something and it was educational for you. I'll be uploading part 2 of that video in the next couple of days on how to reassemble the front end of your ZX12R. If you need to know how to disassemble it in order to do the fork seals or just change the fork oil, just watch the next video in reverse and you'll get the gist. I'll be uploading some more tutorials and general bike related vlogs in the upcoming future. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. I'll be linking Del Boy's garage down below because he was quite helpful, you know, he knows a lot of stuff, and yeah, peace!